Hi guys, welcome to Daily Dose of DIY. My name is Chris and today I have this XTool M1 hybrid laser engraver cutting machine. Is this going to replace a Cricut and do even more? It will laser cut wood. You can engrave on wood, metal, tumblers, glass, acrylics. Plus it has a cutting blade so you can cut vinyl and all the other things too. So let's take a look at this. I'm going to get this box opened and we're going to, out of the box, put it together. I'm going to show you the test, my first cuts, and at the end I'll give you all my thoughts and let you know whether or not I think this machine is worth it. By the way, welcome to my messy workshop, aka barn, half husband side, half my side, where we store and ship all the Cricut Crafters Club boxes. We're getting ready to send out the August box, so a little bit of change of scenery today. With that said, let's get this box open. Okay, I got my knife here and we're just going to tear right in. The outside of the box does say not to use a knife. You could damage the contents inside, but I'm going to take my chances. You'll notice also when it gets open there is quite a bit of styrofoam in there, so if you're not using a machete, I think you're going to be safe. It is packed really well, which is a good thing because we don't want it to get damaged during shipping. It did take a little finagling to get it free from the box, but the other good thing is it is lightweight, so once you can break it free, it's pretty easy to handle. Now that we have it out of the box, we can remove the extra styrofoam and the plastic covering to keep it dust free. There's also a plastic film on the top of the cover and on the inside of the cover that you'll need to remove too. Inside of the machine we'll find some more packaging, plus all the things like the power cords, our book, the sample materials it comes with, and our cut mats. So this is what the inside of the machine looks like. We have the laser head assembly, which also holds the cutting blade. There is a camera on top of there, and then our work area. Okay, let's take a look and see what else we got in here. There are cutting mats. The blue is the light grip and pink is for fabric. And then inside the styrofoam packaging, we have our sample materials pack. We'll pop that open and see what's inside in just a second. The instruction manual comes with an exhaust tube. Here are our power and USB cords. And I'm not quite sure what this is yet. Here's the screws and the exhaust hose attachment, and we get a set of 5 cutting blades. In our sample pack, we have a sheet of sticker paper. This is a sheet of faux leather and then a sheet of adhesive vinyl. There's also a piece of basswood that is 3 millimeters thick, and finally a metal dog tag we can use for engraving. My assistant Bear looks pretty excited to get a new dog tag, don't you think? Okay, let's get this machine set up so we can give it a test. I'm going to start with the exhaust tube. It comes with screws that you don't even need a screwdriver for, so easy peasy. I also figured out what the other project was, little triangle rods, so we can elevate what we cut and engrave to help with airflow. If you're not working in a well-ventilated area, such as a garage or somewhere outside, you will want to attach this tube to vent your exhaust outside. You can vent it out a window fairly easily to remove the smoke and toxic fumes. It also comes with an optional add-on for an additional price, a filter you can attach if you do not have an easy way to run the exhaust tube outside. Once the attachment is on, add the clamp that it comes with it to the attachment and then fit your hose over it and clamp it down, and then place the other end of your hose outside a window. Next, you'll want to connect your power cord and USB cord. It will connect to your device. It works on PCs, Macs, Androids, iOS. It will connect by Wi-Fi, but my Wi-Fi tends to cut out and I prefer to be connected by USB so we don't get interrupted mid-project. Next, we need to download the software. It's a pretty simple, straightforward download. I will give you the link in the description of this video, or if you're on a mobile device, go to your app store and search for Laser Box for XTool. The software is pretty user-friendly. If you're a Cricut user, you'll recognize the left menu and the top menu are pretty similar to that of a Cricut. And then over here on the right is where we're going to connect our machine and where we'll see all the machine settings. So next I'm going to connect my Mac to the laser box. Just click the Connect Device button. It will pop up a new window. We're connecting by USB. I have it plugged in so you see right away. There is the M1 laser box. We're going to select that and then it will connect. Once it's connected, you'll be able to see the image from the camera inside the machine. So this is what our bed looks like now. We don't have anything in there. Let's get a material loaded and do a little test project. I'm going to start with putting the triangle prisms along the base so we have good airflow from our cut. And then I'm going to place a board that's a birch plywood on top. We're going to cut and score this board. Okay, we have the lid shut, so it snapped the picture of our wood in there. We're ready to cut and engrave. I'm just going to come over and grab an SVG. I have a candy cane, and just like Cricut, you can drag and drop it in there, and it will bring it in. It says it's every SVG I've tried to bring in here is the same. It says this image is too large. Do you want to scale it? I just keep clicking yes. I'm not sure what their size requirements are, but so far everyone has come in that way. Now on this, one thing I don't like and that you want to note, usually when you're scaling something and you hit the shift key, it holds the dimensions, like it holds, I can't think of the word I want, but it stops it from like squeezing and like getting out of sorts, right? In this program, when you hit the shift key, it does not do that. You can still get out of whack. So you just kind of have to be careful when resizing things, getting them too skinny or too tall. But I'm going to size this down that will fit on my board and move it over closer to the edges so that we don't waste any wood. Let's see how it looks here. Maybe a little bit shorter. I do like over here, the green gives you how long it is. So it's really easy to just take a glance and see how many inches something is going to be. That's the same on the top and the bottom. Okay, once that is done, I want to change that outer line. So I'm going to select the outer line and we are going to cut that. It is a pine plywood, but it is slightly thicker than 3 millimeters. So I'm going to select 3 millimeter pine plywood, and then I'm going to change the thickness to 1.25. And yes, we have the height raised. We have the triangular prisms there. We're going to cut this line. This is the outer line. And then it gives us the power and the speed to go with. So now I'm going to select the orange lines because I want them to score, and that is, it's already on score. I think we are good to go. So now we can click start. Then it comes up with our estimated time is less than a minute. I don't believe them. Their time seems to be a little bit off. Actually, I'm going to set my stopwatch now and we'll see exactly how long this takes. Once you hit start on your computer, you want to hit the flashing button on the M1 machine and that will get it started. It always starts with either engraving or scoring. So you can see it in here scoring and then it will go into the cut. I've got my stopwatch going. We'll see exactly how long this cut takes. As I suspected, it took about 3 minutes and 30 seconds. I will put the timestamp in this video. Let's pull it out and see how it did. It did not cut all the way through on that. Let's see if we can get it out. Pretty close though. So we might need to up our passes. We're already at the highest power. Let me get this out and then we will be back. Okay, I got it free, just a couple splinters. The front and sides look good though. I want to show the thickness. The example they gave us is 3 millimeters And this board is a little bit thicker than the 3 millimeters. I upped the thickness in the design software, but I think I'm going to make it even thicker and give it another shot. Take 2, I upped the thickness of the material from 1.25 to 1.35. You can see on the back it did cut all the way through this time. It took 2 passes. It still took just over 3 minutes, and it comes out nice and clean. So it does have the ability to cut thicker materials like this 1/8 inch birch plywood. So now I'm going to try to engrave this little dog bone tag they sent in there. It is metal. I'm going to start by coming over here and clicking text. That should open up our text box. And when the text box opens, you'll see another menu come up over here on the right. So I'm going to change that text to my dog's name is Bear. You can change the size, the font if you want. I think I'm just going to leave all of that the same. Well, maybe we'll make it thicker since it came up. And then center it on to the dog tag. So we'll resize a little bit. Zoom in so we can see what we're doing. And to zoom in on a Mac, I just use that finger swipe on the keypad, or you can also come up here in the zoom here and make it bigger. So once it looks like I have moved it down just a little bit, it looks pretty good there. So I'm going to come over here and we're going to do the materials. That is an option, the silver bone dog tag. So we're going to be engraving that. I'm not raising the height, so that's all good to go. And then I'm going to come back and select the text again. And once the text comes up, we can go to engrave. And then you can see that filled it all the way in. And I'm going to let, for now, the XTool choose the power and the speed and all of that. I'm not comfortable enough to branch out on my own, so it's going to be all automatic, and then we're going to click the start. This gives us our time, only 4 minutes, not bad. Let's go take a look inside the box and see how it goes. Okay, our button is showing green, which means it's finished. Let's take a look. I did not film it while it was engraving because the glare was so bad you couldn't see anything. Oh, this is super awesome. I love how this turned out. And the benefit of having a camera in there is everything looks nice and centered. This is so cool. Bear's gonna love it. Let's take a look and see how this thing cuts vinyl next. The first thing we need to do is put the blade in the assembly that's held in like a magnet, so just pull it straight down and we'll grab the blades and put them in. These are just like the Cricut blades. They're held in by a magnet, so I'm just going to pop one out of here. You depress the plunger on the end of the housing, and then I got to figure out which way it goes in here. Be careful because those little puppies are sharp. With the plunger depressed, pop it on in there and the magnet will catch it and hold it in. Next, we need to set the depth, so you just grab the end with the plunger and then twist the top until just the tip of your blade is showing at the end. And pop it back on in there. It will hold it in with the magnet, and we're ready to get our mat loaded. Okay, this came with a sample sheet of vinyl, but I think I'm going to cut my own. I'm using Tech Wrap Craft, the color changing vinyl. We used this in our Cricut Crafters Club box over the summer, and I love it. So I just want to test and see how it cuts different types of vinyl. I'm also loading both colors on the mat with the camera in there. So I think we'll be able to separate the colors quite easily. Now let's get this loaded into the machine. The XTool mat also has a backing that you want to peel off. The back is sticky, so it will stick to the base and not move around while the machine is cutting the vinyl. It might be kind of hard to see because I already have it in there, but there are guidelines in there to line up your mat. It fits in there quite well. So now let's get our cover shut and go get our design ready to cut. I'm just going to pull in an SVG we used from the same Cricut Crafters Club box. This was our 4th of July box, so it's a firework wrap design. Again, it says the SVG is too big, just always click yes. And there's something I wanted to show you before. I said the shift key doesn't work to keep proportions, but there is a little lock button up there. So lock your proportions, and then I need to spin this around to get it on the vinyl correctly. And another thing you want to note, when I brought in the SVG, it was colored red and blue, but when you bring it into the software, the colors disappear. So you might want to have a picture of your SVG if you need to remember which design is which color, because the colors do not transfer into the software. I'm going to get these sized down and in the correct position, and then we will set our cut settings. Okay, from the top menu here, we want to change our cut to a blade cut, and then it will bring up the materials we can choose from for blade. There's not a whole lot of vinyl options, so I'm just going to choose removable adhesive vinyl, and we will see how that goes and go from there. With that setting, it automatically chooses the pressure and speed. I'm just going to leave it at the default for right now, and we'll see what happens. The estimated time came up. It's 10 minutes. I think that sounds a little bit long, but let's go ahead and get it started and take a look and see how it does. It's finished cutting, and it did take just a little over 10 minutes. I'm going to put the back protector back on again, and then I'm going to grab my weeding tool, and let's just take a look here and see how it cut. As I peel it back, it might be hard to see. Maybe I should have used a brighter color vinyl, but it did not cut all the way through in this. There are some pieces that cut fine that are still in the backing paper, but many of the pieces did not cut at all. So let's go back and look at the sample size that they gave us. We're definitely going to have to make pressure adjustments for different types of vinyl. So I tried a test cut with this sample vinyl they gave us. Let's just get the mat out of here and we'll see how it did. I just chose a shape off of the menu in the design software and had it cut that one shape so we could do a quick test cut. Let's grab my weeding tool here and pull it up, and you can see it cut that perfectly. This is a little bit of a thinner vinyl than I was cutting before, so you will have to make notes of the blade pressure and adjust that manually as you cut different vinyls. Okay, so let's go over everything that we've learned with the XTool, whether or not I recommend it, the good, the bad, the ugly, my likes and dislikes. I can start with likes. I like the live camera view that you can see in there and that goes to your screen. It really helps line everything up well. I obviously messed something up on this cutting board, so it might take some little tweaks and adjustments. The software is super easy to use. I think if you are a Cricut user, you are going to be familiar with it and not have too many problems whatsoever. Thing I don't like about the software is it does not save your own projects. So like when I upload this and it didn't come out as dark as I wanted, so I wanted to try again, I had to upload it again. There's nowhere to save your projects, though it does come loaded with preloaded with projects that you can choose from and make to get started. It's small and it's lightweight, so it doesn't take up much room. You could fit this on a small table. It's easy to carry around. It's movable, except for the fact that it has this exhaust right here, so you're going to want to keep it close to a window or outside. But I do like the lightweight and the fact that I can move it if I need to. I don't need to call in a team of movers. The price, I don't think you can beat the price. It's under $1,000 for the 5 watt, which is the one I have. I would, if you have it in your budget, upgrade to the 10 watt. The 5 watt can cut up to 4 millimeters thick, and it comes with the basswood. So basswood, or it can cut up to 4 easily. The 3 millimeters what it sent, and you can see that's kind of flimsy. It cut that no problem. That's what I cut my very first test on. I also cut 1/8 inch, which is over, I think it's between 3 and 4 millimeters. I'm not good at converting. It took 2 passes to do that, but my second try, The first try it didn't quite cut all the way through and we splintered the back. The second try, adjusting my settings, it did cut all the way through that. However, if you get a 10 watt, it cuts even thicker materials without any problem. So if it's in your budget, go ahead and upgrade. It's only a couple $100 more for the 10 watt. Things I don't like so much is it does not have a pass-through like some of the Glowforge and the bigger cutting machines. So your limited size is 15 inches by 11.8 inches, so almost 12 inches. And you can't cut anything bigger than that. So if you're talking like doing door hangers, I know are popular, some of the bigger ones, 16, 18 inches, this is not going to do it. However, for those things you paint, it does score well to give you paint lines if you want to do something on a smaller scale. Another dislike, it does not have air assist. So air assist is when it's blowing air as it's cutting, and that helps keep some of these, which one's the burnt one, some of the burn lines off, helps keep like the flame down and just debris out of your way. Supposedly it's coming soon, but it's not included and not supported yet on this machine. Cutting vinyl, if you're a Cricut user, I don't think you're going to be impressed with the cutting vinyl. It takes much, much longer, and you're also going to have to play more with the settings. As I showed you, it will, your starter, it came with it vinyl. Yes, it cut through that great, but I tried a different brand of vinyl, and with Cricut, you can kind of choose the different thicknesses. Like I'm cutting glitter HTV, which is thicker, or I'm cutting this type of vinyl, which we know is thicker, and it auto adjusts it. On this one, you're going to have to play with the settings and find it the best yourself, which means you're probably going to be going through a lot of vinyl. But hey, we all have a lot of scrap vinyl, so that might not be a big deal other than using your time. To engrave, the max height, just base as it comes, is just a little over 1/2 inch. So that's what these cutting boards are. They're 1/2 inch. You could go a little bit thicker than that. You can do thicker materials, and it also comes with the additional, you can add on a rotary tool, so you can do mugs and all of that. You will have to get risers and do adjustments to do the thicker materials or the tumblers. But in the box, 1/2 inch for engraving, which for most things, I think that would be okay. And it does have the capabilities. Like I said, you just have to do additional things. I think that is everything I have on my likes and don't likes. Let me know if you have any other additional questions. Overall, I do reckon this is a great starter if you're wondering to get into laser cutting and laser engraving. You're thinking maybe you want to start that business, or you just want to do it as a hobby. I would go with the 10 watt, but for the price, I don't think you can beat it with its functionalities for a laser and engraving tool. If you don't already have a Cricut, it's a bonus that it also has a blade and that you can cut vinyl and stuff like that. If you do have a Cricut, I don't see you using this for your vinyl cutting needs. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe and stay tuned for more fun crafts and tutorials.